Welcome to today's virtual career exploration video. I'm Danielle Britton, Talent and Education Director at the Greater Binghamton Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Binghamton Education Outreach Program. I'm joined today by Alexis Burke, who is the Chief Operating Officer at A.L. Burke. Welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Danielle. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump right in, and if you want to start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. I am Alexis Burke, obviously. I work at a company here in Binghamton. It is a family business. We've been around over 75 years. We just celebrated our 75th anniversary. It was started by my great-grandfather, and over the years, the company has evolved and adapted with the changing real estate market and the need of our Binghamton area. Right now, we focus on rental properties, typically residential. We own and manage all of our own properties with the Burke family members. Right now, we have almost 700 tenants. We have commercial buildings. We have mobile homes. We have single-family houses. We have apartment complexes. Storage units. So we have a really broad portfolio of properties that we manage. With that, my job really around here is, real estate, focusing on real estate sales, investing, and managing real estate.
Great. So obviously you had some family involvement in choosing your career path. But in choosing the kind of specific part of your family business that you work in, kind of what helped made you decide to pursue that type of career?
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, I left Binghamton. I'm born and raised here in Binghamton. I went to Shenango Valley. My whole school career, I went to CV, and I graduated, and the first thing I did was leave. I went to college in Oneonta, which is a small upstate town, obviously, and then I decided to go to Tampa, Florida, and it was good because it gave me, I experienced a lot in life. Sometimes it's like, you don't know what you have until you move away, until you try something new. So I thought I was going to be in the psychology field, and I had picked business psychology because I really like the organizational structure of businesses. And so I had, things happened in Tampa, and I decided to get into real estate. And I was in real estate in Tampa. I was working as a real estate agent. I had just left the University of Tampa, where I was majoring in psychology and business psychology. When I realized that I had a family business here in Binghamton that, was also in real estate. Mm-hmm. And so I came home, and I kind of just went where I was needed. For me, I feel that I kind of adapt in real estate or kind of in life to what is needed, right? So when I came to this company, a lot of the organizational concepts, the systems and procedures of the company, specifically for the management, that was a big need in growing the company. And so that's where I focused my efforts into where I was needed, where the demand was, the work demand.
Awesome. And so as a chief operating officer, what does your kind of typical day look like? I'm sure that's a hard question because it's not always typical, but.
That's okay. So my typical day is I wake up and usually already have phone calls and emails. As soon as I wake up, first thing I do is check my email to see who's got back to me from the day before, like who needs me. I get texts like right away, things that people have questions on. Often it is the logistics coordinator for our maintenance personnel. So we have about 15 people that are strictly like maintenance type stuff. So maintaining our properties, rehabbing units, and the logistics coordinator often comes to me for issues. She's usually the person who always texts me in the morning. I also get one of our staff members that works on evictions and accounts receivable. So she focuses in that area of the company, and then she comes to me for questions. I'll check on court dates pending eviction proceedings because I do accompany for some of the eviction proceedings as needed. I'll go and see how inventory is coming. So if a person's moved out, I'll check to see what the time span is from somebody moving out to getting that unit renovated, to marketing, to leasing it, to getting it occupied. So everything that happens kind of in between, specifically with the upfront office stuff, is really my realm. And so I could be, checking to see what units are available to be rented. I can see, checking in on what's getting rented, what needs to be marketed, kind of checking in on those operations. Also, utilizing a big thing that I do is I focus on new strategies moving forward. So I focus on, these are all kind of like broad spectrum of like what I do during the day. I could have an interview. I interview a lot. We recruit a lot of new talent, depending on where it's needed in the company. And I'm often in, talking to different technology sources for updating our technology in the company. So like rent manager software, I email them all the time. I actually just talked to someone yesterday, one of our staff members. I'm like, I wonder if they get annoyed by all my questions. She says, no, because you buy a lot of their services. And so they're like real techie people. So I talk to the techie people and I, work with them. And then also like right now I'm working on, I work on a lot of marketing and branding strategy with the company. So awesome. Like today I have a new logo rolling out.
Oh, nice. Exciting. So the level of your position as well as kind of the field you're in, I assume it's not a typical 9 to 5, obviously, since you get texts first thing in the morning and probably all through the night too, right?
Yeah. So we have somebody who answers the emergency calls. But she does come to me. So I'm basically, like I said, checking in on operations, making sure that they're running smoothly, but also like I get called out for like the sticky situations, so if it's something that might be, I call them sticky, it might be, there's an issue there, then I get called. So like at night, if there's something she has a question on, she'll call me, depending on, and it could be any time of the day, honestly. We had an issue at one of our properties on last Saturday night, and it was midnight. Actually, I think it was 11 o'clock. It was 11 o'clock, and I got a call that the fire department was there because NYSEG was saying that there was natural gas leak or something. They're like, I can't get anyone to go. We need to figure out what we need to do, at 11 o'clock on Saturday. So that also came to my realm, mine and my husband, who's the service manager.
I assume you've had some changes since the whole COVID-19 situation has occurred. So has your kind of day-to-day changed at all with that, or what sort of changes have you seen with that, the pandemic?
Yeah, so we are an essential business, so we are still operating. We maintain water systems, we provide, housing units and maintenance for those housing units and the utility services. So we have to continue operating. Some of the things that we saw to happen was with the, the stay home, save lives, the, unemployment benefits, the benefits of staying home, we lost at least half of our workforce. And so we then have the challenge of figuring out, okay, how do we still get things done and, only be operating at a certain capacity? Also, a lot of business slowed down. So even though people, like for example, the office. So the office work slowed down in a lot of ways, or certain areas slowed down and other areas we couldn't fill the need. So I had to kind of adjust our personnel accordingly. So a couple of the things that we did during this time was we did virtual tours of our units, and we created a YouTube channel. I told you I did a lot of work on my logo, a lot of work on my marketing this time, a lot of work with advancing technology. What else? We took some headshots of people. We're going to do like a meet our team kind of posts on Facebook and on our website. And we also had to outsource some stuff. We found that we needed to outsource some of the maintenance stuff in order to be able to maintain things.
So any high school students that will listen to this, do you have any advice for different courses or extracurricular activities they can get involved in if they're interested in real estate, or even some of the other pieces of your job that they might be interested in to learn about it more?
So yeah, a couple of different things. I know for me, probably being like a young adult, right, high school age, and even now, honestly, I think that people need to always, be learning and opening their eyes to learning experiences.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most beneficial things that somebody told me was that smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of others. And so for me, I like to look at people who have what I want or are successful in a certain realm, right? Because there's a lot of realms that you need to be good at in order to be successful in real estate. You need to be, you need to be able to be self-motivated. You need to be able to not only handle the task, but you have to be able to manage tasks. You have to be able to manage people. You have to be able to interact with people. There's a lot of different skills in real estate that you need to be able to have to run your own business or be successful in this field. So I think that there are places that you can learn from people everywhere, honestly. And like I said, I try to find people who have what I want, and then I emulate them. So somebody who's good at something, I always heard the quote, find somebody who has what you want and ask how he or she is achieving it. And that's what I do. So if I know that somebody's real good at something, I watch them and I try to be like them. So that's really helpful for me. What else? Getting involved in the community is good. Getting involved in meeting people. I think that's the best thing you can do is more people that you can meet, the more interactions you have with people that you find are successful in life or successful in general or good at something that you want to be good at. Be around them and try to utilize the strategies. Watch them and learn from them.
Awesome. I think that's really great advice. Do you think that there's anything in particular for like courses either in high school or, I don't necessarily know that a certain type of degree is needed to get into real estate, but kind of that outside learning coursework that might be helpful for the real estate field?
I think that, so I went to college. That was very, high school was very beneficial. I always worked hard in school. I always got good grades. I think that's important. It was always very important to me, and I was always very active in a lot of clubs. Like for example, I used to do like research in the psychology field, and then I would go and present the research. This is totally optional in your free time, right? And I would present the research at psychology conferences. I would find, different conferences. I love conferences. You can always, there's so many people to like learn from and come in contact with. And so getting involved in those was very beneficial for me because I got to meet a lot of people. It gave me a chance to present my ideas and present myself and kind of adapt that, right? So also I did drama club. I did theater, fun fact. And that was good, right? That's a confidence booster. You got to be on stage, So that was helpful too. But honestly, just getting involved in as many things as possible, I think is good. I did psychology club, I did theater, I did key club. I like to volunteer. I used to go to the nursing homes and play bingo with the old people in high school. Loved it. Okay. Loved nursing home bingo. And that was great. There's a lot to learn from, older generations. And they're,
I'm sure they're very competitive too.
Yeah. They're to be, respected and to learn from. So I think getting involved is good. I think the worst thing you can do is to, be too much into like social media and video games and stuff like that. Those aren't really, or TV, those aren't really learning avenues. A lot of times, a lot of those are not really learning avenues, but I also like to read, just subscribe to like newsletters. I like to look up like entrepreneur.com. Those are great. Forbes, entrepreneur, like articles. I'll Google anything.
I didn't send this question, but I'm gonna go off script a little bit. But since you do hiring, What sort of things are you looking for when you're hiring new employees that you haven't mentioned? Because I'm sure a lot of that still applies, but what other skills might you look for when hiring?
Okay, so I have this whole protocol that I've developed with hiring, and all of the questions really outline key personality. My questions are meant in an interview application, just so you know, because I know when I was younger, I used to interview, and it's like, why do they ask all these questions, right? Well, actually, those questions bring out a lot of personality defects and personality flaws in an individual based on how they respond. Mm-hmm. So for a good one is what kind of oversight would your ideal boss provide? Mm-hmm. And I have, in fact, had an individual tell me, well, they better not be breathing down my neck. What does that tell me? That tells me that you don't like to listen to people, right? That you can't really take direction. Mm-hmm. So what I'm looking for is people that are, especially when I'm like scouting talent, right? I want people that are either already skilled or like starting out, right? For the younger generation is I want people that are willing to learn, that listen to me, right? They listen, they want to learn, they want to advance, people that are motivated, people that are responsible and dependable. That's huge. You have to be a responsible, dependable person in order for somebody to give you a break. What else am I looking for? I'm looking for people that are honest. Also, one of the things when I interview people that I do not hold against them is if they're nervous. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I can be pretty intimidating, and just an interview, and then when I'm staring at you, writing down all your answers, that can be really scary.
Yeah.
But people that are just, honest, reliable, and willing and able to learn, and seem like they have good intentions for sure. Mm-hmm. That they want to definitely motivated people.
No, I think that's really great insight, because so many people think like when they're looking at jobs that they need to have the skills specific to that job, where so often it's exactly what the personality pieces, and do they want to learn, and are they going to be reliable and dependable and honest and everything. Absolutely. I actually hire more people they have less experience. So I hire, most of my hires are less on the experience level and higher on the motivation and able to learn. Yeah, that's really great. Any last minute advice that we didn't cover that you might have for somebody interested in your field or in general?
Mostly just that real estate, you have to be very, very self-motivated. Extremely. You have to be able to respond. You're your own boss. So you have to be able to be your own boss. And basically, the reason that I love this field the most, I love my career, I'm really passionate about it, is because what I get out is directly what I put into it is what I'm going to get out. Mm-hmm. That's something in real estate that's really awesome. And also, I have the flexibility in this field to be creative, to not have a monotonous day-to-day. I am able to use a lot of creativity, and I'm allowed to have like my own ideas and develop them. And so it's really, the career growth is also a lot of, personal growth. But on the flip side, you do have to be able to have, I can't think of the word right now. You have to be motivated, and you have to be, strict with yourself. You have to make sure that you are your own boss. And so that's super important. You can't make excuses or think that you're just going to take the day off and this is just a paycheck because you work for yourself. That's exactly the opposite. It's really hard work, and it's a lot of work a lot of times, but it's very rewarding.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today about your career and everything. If anybody has any additional questions, on the last slide of this video will be my contact information, and I can get you in touch with Alexis to follow up with anything you may have questions about. So thanks again, Alexis.
Thanks, Danielle.